Negotiations is one of the most challenging parts of sales. You can do all this work of getting to know the customer, building a relationship, demoing your product and service, but if you can't get over that last hurdle to negotiate a deal and actually close it, well, you don't generate a sale. And sometimes I know as a salesperson myself, it's very difficult to make sure that you're not coming in too high, not coming in too low, and that everybody walks away, happy with the deal. So in this video, I'm gonna be sharing my top 5 sales negotiation tips that you can use to negotiate with your customer, close more deals, and make sure that everybody walks away happy. Now, before we go ahead and get started, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you wanna see more videos like this, and let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first tip I have for you when it comes to negotiations is actually a mindset tip, and that is look for win-win situations. Now, negotiations, obviously you want a good deal, and so does the other person you're talking to, right? Here's the thing, if you are negotiating for like a business partnership or a long-term partnership, you wanna make sure everybody walks away with the deal happy. You don't want anyone to feel like they got ripped off or that you were being too greedy, and you yourself don't want to feel like you're getting ripped off either, right? So it definitely goes both ways. Always look for these win-win situations where both sides are happy. You can still get a fair deal, you can still make a lot of money, but just make sure emotionally both sides walk away feeling good about working with each other. So here's a big secret on how you get people to be happy with a deal, which is expect the other person you're dealing with to always negotiate your price down. When you go into a negotiations, like you're trying to sell a product and service, the other person will always ask for a discount, especially in a business-to-business environment. And the problem with this is that if you're offering a fair price, which is $10,000 and they want $7,000, well, if you give them that discount, you're gonna feel like, wait, that's too big of a discount. I'm not really making that much money on this deal. Is it even worth it to even move forward? And you never wanna be in that situation. So what you do instead is before the negotiation even starts, whatever price you are willing to accept, you have to price higher than that because you have to anticipate the other person is gonna ask for a discount. So if I was selling something for, let's say $10,000, but I know the other person is gonna ask for a discount. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna charge $13,000. So when I come in, I say, hey John, so what it's gonna be, it's gonna cost $13,000 to do X, Y, and Z. How does that sound to you? John might say, oh, okay, well, that sounds pretty good, Patrick. Seems like it's gonna work. However, $13,000 seems like a lot. Is it okay if we get a $3,000 discount and knock it down to 10K? What's happening here? I anchored the price at $13,000. This person obviously will always want a discount. So me anticipating that, I charge higher and he's gonna knock me down. When he knocks me down to, let's say 12K, 11K, 10K, whatever the case is, I'm gonna be willing to accept $10,000 because I had already planned for him to knock my price down. So that's why it doesn't always pay off to be fair on the first go when you're negotiating price, right? If you tell the person the price that you want up front, they will always knock you down. So that's why you always gotta charge higher in anticipation for that, so that in the end of the day, what's gonna happen is that in your head, I want to walk away with $10,000. I charged them 13, but then we ended up with 10. I'm happy because that's exactly what I wanted. The other person is thinking, oh wow, this guy charged me $13,000, but I got a $3,000 discount. That's amazing. Let me go back to my team and tell them how great I am about negotiating, right? And so when both parties walk away, everybody's happy, right? And so that's basically a win-win situation. However, you have to really pay attention to how this works, is because it's only a win-win situation because the salesperson, which is you guys, created that situation. Had you just told them the price that you were willing to accept, they would knock your price down and then it wouldn't be a win for you. That's why you always charge higher in anticipation for someone to knock your price down. Besides negotiating on price, we're gonna move into the third point, which is negotiating things besides money. So most people, when they're starting out in negotiations, they think that money is the end all be all. Either you reduce the price or increase the price. There's always price, price, price. But in reality, there are other things you can negotiate. For example, let's say I was charging $10,000 for some kind of service, and my prospect or potential customer says, that sounds great, but I wanna do $7,000. What I can do instead is say, hey, I understand you want $7,000 for this, and I totally get it. But getting that $10,000 is really important for our team to make sure our business is running. So how about we offer extra services valued at more than $3,000 and will give it to you for free and keep the price at $10,000. So what's happening here is that the person wants to knock down your price. You say you empathize with them, you understand where they're coming from, but what you do instead is you offer more services that maybe is actually very easy for you to do, but the perceived value of what you're offering may be very high. And so they may be willing to accept your higher price at 10K because they get more. And so when they think about it, they're thinking, I wanted a lower price. He's not gonna change his price, but he's gonna give me more services that I didn't know I needed. But hey, actually, it's because it's such a good deal, I'll take it. And so what happens is that you keep your price. You do have to offer more services, but sometimes it's like the things you offer are free for you to do. So maybe sometimes it doesn't cost you anything to earn that $3,000. What happens is the customer is happy because they're like, okay, I got all this free stuff. I feel good because if I had to pay for it, I would have to pay $13,000. Patrick gave it to me for 10, and I'm happy. I'm happy as a salesperson because I kept my price at $10,000, and maybe the thing I'm giving this person is valuable, but maybe it doesn't even cost me any time or money to deliver on that thing. And that way, like I said before, both sides are happy. But remember, the key to all of this is that the salesperson has to remain in control the entire time, and you're kind of influencing the direction of the conversation. You do not want the other person to be like playing you, basically. You have to let them come to their own conclusions and offer these things in a certain way that make it feel like a good deal. And the next tip I have for you, if you feel it, say it. In a sales or negotiation situation, there are always gonna be these times where you feel like you really feel like a strong emotion on the inside, but you're not sure whether or not you should say it. For example, you're a salesperson, you're selling something, and someone's trying to lowball you. You want to make $10,000, they're saying like, we can offer you 3K. And you're like, that literally doesn't make any sense for me. This is the rule I follow. If you feel it, say it. Remember, you can always walk away from a negotiation, so you don't have to do the deal, right? But if someone's being unfair, tell them that they're being unfair and watch how quickly they correct their mistakes. Here's a real example. Me doing YouTube, I get a lot of sponsorship offers. I remember somebody emailed me and they said, Patrick, we really love your YouTube channel and this and that. How about you promote our products? And then I'm like, sure, like what's your budget? And then they gave me a very, very, very low number that I would never accept in a million years. I wasn't afraid of what they thought of me. I wasn't afraid of being rude. I just let them know straight up, like, that offer is very low. No way I'm gonna do it. And then I said, but here's my price. And I gave them a significantly higher price that was about more than 10 times the amount they were offering. And then they came back and they kind of met me in the middle in a sense, or they came close to my price that I asked for. And just like that, whatever they were offering on the first go, they multiply it by 10 or more, and that's what they were willing to do. So because I felt that they were trying to rip me off, I just told them. And you'll see how quickly people will adapt to it. Because in negotiations, it's kind of like if you're dealing with someone who's trying to take advantage of others, they always lowball. If you feel like you're being lowballed, just tell the person, hey, I don't think this is fair because X, Y, and Z, I know my value, blah, 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 and they will change their price just like that. So whenever you feel it, say it. Don't be afraid to say it, have the courage, because at the end of the day, you can always walk away from the deal if it doesn't suit you. And finally, that brings us to our last point, which is be willing to walk away from a deal. In negotiations, you have to understand that both sides have to agree. So if somebody is trying to really rip you off and you know it's unfair, well, why do you need to do it? You literally don't, right? You can literally just walk away and work with somebody else. Here's the thing, when people lowball you, understand that there are other people who are willing to offer you something more fair. It doesn't have to be exactly what you want, but it doesn't have to be like extremely low. And also, when you're willing to walk away from a deal, well, you actually have a lot more leverage. A lot of times when people try to collaborate with me and things like that, I just tell them straight up like, hey, it's not gonna be worth it for me unless I make X amount of dollars. Whatever someone else is offering me, I literally don't care. It doesn't make a difference in my life because I'm on my own mission and I got my own path to go. Because of that, my negotiation leverage is so much higher because I can say no to 99.9% of the people that want to work with me. And then the people that actually want to commit a lot more resources to make something happen, they're the ones that I are more likely to work with, right? Because they are kind of like matching my level. Because I'm willing to walk away from 99% of the deals that come my way, I have extremely high leverage. I could ask for these ridiculously high prices in the eyes of the person offering. I know that that 1% of people will actually take me up on my offer, and that's gonna be a win-win situation for both sides. So whatever the case is for you guys, whatever you're selling, your product and service, whatever customers you're dealing with, understand that if you don't like it, you don't have to work with the person. It's a free world, you can do whatever you want. Just remember, the more willing you are to walk away and work with someone else, the more power you have. Those are gonna be my 5 tips on negotiations. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and make sure to check out my masterclass, Sales Legacy, if you want to learn more about how to start and accelerate your sales career. And so with that said, my name is Patrick Dang, and I'll see you guys in the next one.